What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. School's just been keeping me really busy. This graduate program is kind of a lot to handle, but because of that, I've just been watching the NASCAR season unfold, as all of you have been, I'm sure, and obviously it concluded last weekend with the championship race, and so I thought I hadn't made a video in a while, and I owed it to you guys to give you my thoughts on the championship. I think I'm just going to focus on the last race, and I guess I'll talk about Martinsville a little bit, but I don't think there's much to talk about there. And then maybe make some predictions or something for 2019. So I guess with that said, let's just get right into it. As far as, let's go kind of chronological order here. So starting off with Martinsville, I guess about a month ago now, or close to a month ago, the whole Logano Truex thing was ridiculous. It's really windy. The whole Logano Truex thing to me was ridiculous. Logano had a good car, led a decent amount of laps, got ran down clean by Truex, for sure. Like, that was obvious. And then Logano puts a bumper to him in the last corner to win the race. Smart move. I mean, he said he was thinking about Miami, and I wouldn't, I don't blame him. I would have been thinking the same thing. And, that's the kind of racing, and that's what happens when, NASCAR manufactures this drama with this current playoff chase format, however you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it. That's what happens. Like, if it was just points racing, would he have done that? You know what? Honestly, yeah, he probably would have, because, who doesn't want to win, right? That's their 100% rule. You want to always be out there trying to win. You don't want to lay over for anybody. And I didn't expect him to lay over for Truex, and he didn't. And he got the win, and, hindsight, right? That kind of won him the championship in a way. He obviously had to go to Homestead and perform, which he did, and I'll get into that in a minute, but he did the right move. Anyone else would have done the same thing. Jimmy Johnson would have done that. Jeff Gordon would have done that. Dale Jr. would have done that. Dale Earnhardt would have done that. Kyle Busch would have done that. Truex himself would have done that. If it was Logano in front of him, he would have bumped him. So Truex can whine all he wants, but, that's the truth of it, I think, is anyone else would have done the same thing. And he didn't dump him like Hamlin did last year, right? He just moved him out of the way. Truex still finished third. I don't know why he was crying after the race. But anyway, that's my take on it. Joey did nothing wrong and definitely deserved to be locked into Homestead. So yeah, that's just my stance on that. It really shouldn't have been a big deal at all. That's just hard racing. The championship race was pretty surprising. I think, we all thought Harvick would be good, and he was early. And then the sun went down, and he was still okay, but not where he needed to be. I think the biggest surprise, even more than that, though, was Kyle Busch just completely not performing. I think I had him on my roster. I might have switched him out, actually, but Kyle Busch, had the fastest car for most of the year, or the second fastest car, I guess you could say, for most of the year, and kind of laid back a little bit in the playoffs and wasn't as fast, but still a top 5 car, I would say, and I think many of you can agree. And so yeah, it was super surprising when he just didn't really have the speed at Homestead. And I was for sure, I honestly thought, even though he didn't have the speed throughout the day, when that caution came out at the end, I was like, all right, Kyle's leading, they're going to all come in, they'll be on equal tires, and he should have a chance to win this thing, Because, it's Kyle Busch. Like, I'm not going to count him out. I'm not going to bet against him on a restart with 15 or so laps to go, right? At least, some people might. I'm definitely not. So I was definitely surprised that he just got, blown by right there at that restart. And then I think Logano was a surprise to a lot of people for being as fast as he was all day. It was pretty clear he had a short run car, and that, his speed wouldn't last over, 30 or so laps. Truex would usually catch him. And so I'll say this. I didn't want Truex to win the title because I think he just complains too much. I didn't want Kyle Busch to win the title because it's Kyle Busch, and he didn't deserve it in 2015, which is a funny thing. I'll get to that in a minute as well. And Harvick, I didn't really care if he won. If he did, I would have been happy for him. He is a solid driver. He's been the best all year, and I wanted Ford to win. But honestly, Logano, for me, was the best to win it because, he was kind of the underdog. He did deserve to be there. He would have been fourth in points if we were going on the whole season standings. So he absolutely deserved to be in the race. And he had a fast car and he executed. And he under the current format, right, he deserves a championship. If it was old point system, then it should have been Kyle Busch. And the funny thing about this whole thing is in 2015, Logano would have been the overall points champion on the entire year. But Kyle Busch missed a third of the races, which is ridiculous, and won the championship and should have been 20th in points. And Logano lost. And so in the year, it's just funny that in the year Kyle Busch should have won the overall championship, or I guess I should say would have won the overall championship, Joey Logano comes in and steals it from him. Even though he technically stole it from Truex Jr. for the race, really the overall year, he took it from Kyle Busch. So I think that's kind of funny, a little bit of karma there. So I thought the race was decent. And yeah, I was happy Logano won. I can't believe he passed Truex that easily on the final restart there. He just went right around him. And Truex, it was funny, he said, I didn't even have a chance to wreck him or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty hilarious at the end. A lot of people probably feel bad for Truex, and I think he was definitely the one that many people were pulling for because it's like, it's the easy one to pull for. It's like the Cinderella story kind of, again. And yeah, it would have been sweet if he could have gotten, another championship for Furniture Row in their last year. But I was like, nah, man, screw that. Like, I don't want that to happen, so I'm glad it didn't. Just because of how Truex has acted, and especially how he's acted being a champion, and as well as how he acted towards Jimmy with the Roval incident. Again, just like, calm down. Not a big deal. You're both going for a win. It happens sometimes. So, yeah, I lost a lot of respect for him there. So, I'm absolutely not a Truex fan. So, I wasn't on that bandwagon in Homestead last week. Long story short, I guess, I'm glad Logano won. I'm glad Kyle Busch and especially Truex lost. And Kevin Harvick just didn't have the car at, when it got dark out. So, what are you going to do? He won 8 races. Like he said in his interview, he can hang his hat on that. He's pretty happy with the season. And honestly, I would be too, right? So that is Martinsville and the championship covered. And then for 2019, I don't really have many predictions. I just want to say something about my favorite driver, Jimmy Johnson. They announced a new sponsor, Ally Financial, which I heard is essentially the new GMAC. And GMAC used to sponsor, I think, the 25 car of Brian Vickers as well as Casey Mears back in the mid-2000s for Hendrick. So it's cool. It's whatever. I like that they're full-time, right? So all 36 races for the next 2 years, which is great. Exactly what they need. And that's good that they have that solid foundation so they can focus on just racing and winning, which I hope they get back to. So I would love to have Johnson open the season and win the 500, his third one. That'd be awesome. Who knows if that's going to happen? But I think that'd be great. I think, Kevin Meendering, I think that's how you say it, Meendering. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hopefully he'll be good. I mean, he's done, he's been pretty solid in the Xfinity Series with Elliott Sadler, who just retired. And if Sadler didn't choke a couple times, he would be, probably a 2-time Xfinity champion crew chief. So I think he is solid. It's weird. It's going to be weird, for me seeing Jimmy without Chad and obviously many other people. I'm not the only one, but when they announced that, I was obviously taken back. I think it makes sense, though. They haven't had a lot of success since their championship in 2016. They had 3 early wins last year and then have just been yikes since then. So, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about Jimmy and Kevin. I'm also cautiously optimistic about Chad and William Byron. William didn't really impress this past season at all. I know Hendrick is behind, but Chase Elliott was still able to win 3 races and be pretty competitive, and he has always pretty much been competitive. I think Chase Elliott's just a solid driver. Johnson, watching him struggle this year was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was tough. But, yeah, I'm hoping this kind of rekindles, some fire in him. Not that I think it's gone away, but I don't know. I just hope it helps him maybe see clearer or something and get that 48 and himself and his team and Ally Financial, his new sponsor, into victory lane. Would be amazing. I don't care where it is. If it's in Daytona, awesome. But I don't care. Just get back to victory lane is number one priority for that 48 team, I think. And do I think they can do it next year? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a 7-time champion. I don't have to say all of his stats. You can go look it up on Wikipedia or something. It's Jimmie Johnson we're talking about. He can do it. He can wheel a car. So, yes, I do think he gets back to victory lane. Where, I don't know, hopefully sometime in the first 5 races. That would be my prediction. He wins in the first 5 races of 2019. Maybe that's a little too optimistic. Maybe not. I mean, again, it's Jimmie Johnson. So hopefully that happens. William Byron, I want to say he wins next year, but I just don't know. Watching I keep saying Elliott Sadler. Watching Chase Elliott, not struggle, but just not be able to win his first couple years. It's tough. Is Chad Knaus a better crew chief than Alan Gustafson? Yeah, he is. But I just don't know. I wasn't super impressed with him this year. Yes, I know he won Rookie of the Year. That's not really saying much since his competition was Bubba Wallace, and nothing against Bubba, but he's at a terrible team. So, hard to say. I wish him the best, and I hope William does perform well. And hey, if he leads Hendrick and he has 5 wins or 8 wins next year, awesome. I would be more, I'd be for that, but I'm not sure if I see it happening right now. As far as Chase Elliott, I hope he continues on his success. I think he will. Maybe he can win a couple races. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. And then Alex Bowman, I think he definitely did well this year. He made it to the top 12 for the playoffs. I expect a little more from him next year. Hopefully a win, maybe a couple. Just because, again, last year he wasn't a rookie. I mean, he's been in the Cup Series for a few years. I think at least since 2014 or 15, I want to say. So you got to start winning, dude, or why are you in the 88 car? So hopefully he can get himself into victory lane. If everyone at Hendrick can get into victory lane at least once next year, that's a successful year, especially from 2018. And even in 2017, that would be a successful year. So hopefully they can do that. That's really all I have to say for predictions or anything for 2019. My thoughts. I'm just keeping it to Hendrick Motorsports and mainly Jimmie Johnson, just because that's where my loyalties and passions lie, I guess, in NASCAR. I guess with that, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'll leave a link in the in the description, as well as I'll put it in the video on the bottom of the screen. So you can go follow me on there. I'm posting every day until Daytona, so I'm doing the countdown. And I also just post, I'm posting all of Jimmie Johnson's wins right now as well. So I'm documenting what the race was, what career win number it was for him, stuff like that. So go ahead and follow me on there if you want to see that content. I also, I do want to do more of the video game sessions, but recording into my phone is kind of cumbersome, and I don't think it really works super well. So I've been looking at trying to get like a capture card, but I've looked up how to do it on PlayStation 3, and there's not really a great way to do it. It seems like if you know a way, please help me out in the comments. I might try to look up how to do it on an Xbox. I do have an Xbox with me as well, and maybe that's easier, so I could pick up a game for that and kind of restart a career there. Let me know what you guys think if you want to see that content. I like putting it out there because it's fun, and I just want it to be recorded better and have higher quality videos for you guys, and also make it easier for me to record, because it's just, again, like I said, it's cumbersome with my phone to record and put it close to the TV. It just doesn't work that great. So yeah, let me know if you want to do that, or if you have any suggestions for using capture cards on a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360. I would really appreciate it. But with that said, I'm going to close this video out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I'm going to try to do more videos. But like I said, school is it's got me right now. So almost through in 6 months. I'll be graduated and I'll be done. But until then, it's got to be on the grind. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.